Hi everyone, welcome back to part 2 of the Book 1 Cozies Club chapter by chapter for Christmas Cowbells, the first book in the Buttermilk Creek Mystery series by Mollie Cox Bryan. I'm Di and this is my audio only reading vlog for this book. Today I will be reading chapters 7 through 12 and sharing my thoughts with you along the way. Due to the nature of this reading vlog, there will be spoilers, so if you haven't read these chapters yet, I suggest that you not listen to this recording until you do. If you would prefer to hear my general thoughts on this book in its entirety, keep an eye out for my Book 1 Cozies Club Series First Impressions video, which will be posted sometimes after the reading vlogs for this book have commenced. So how is everybody doing today? As I mentioned, we will be reading chapters 7 through 12. I am very interested to see what Bryn's investigative style is like. I don't know about you, but for me, the investigative style of my amateur sleuth makes or breaks a series for me. If I happen to find that the amateur sleuth is too pushy or their line of questioning doesn't make sense, or if it's super obvious that they're fishing for information and not, weaving in their questioning in a creative, conversational way, it can get on my nerves a little bit, I guess. So yeah, I'm really interested to see how Bryn does her investigation and where she's going to start. Because as of right now, it doesn't really seem like she's too interested in investigating. Like, for example, when she was in the hospital and she heard the people talking about, why Nancy was taken to that hospital instead of the other one per protocol, it didn't seem like she was really curious about it. Like, she looked around for the person, but she didn't make it a point to, seek them out. She did get distracted by a phone call, but still, it doesn't seem like she's really interested in investigating at this point. Like, there have been several instances where she's been given little pieces of information and it doesn't seem to have sparked anything, at least not in my opinion. So yeah, I'm curious to know what's gonna make her say, okay, something's up here. I want to look into it and find out what happened to Nancy. So I'm hoping that will happen within the next 6 chapters. And anyway, I am going to dig into chapter 7 right now, and I will be back with you in a bit. So I just finished chapter 7. I'm having a little bit of a hard time with some of the sentence structures. Like, I don't know, some of the sentences are just not reading smoothly to me. I'm having to go back and reread. For example, in the beginning of chapter 7, she's talking about her make. And I'm like, well, what is that? And we don't find out until later, actually the next page, what that is. And so that was a little confusing. Also, some of the sentences are done weird. Like, 2 of these sentences seem like they should have just been connected with a comma, yet they're still 2 separate sentences, and the second sentence starts with and. So reading things like that is kind of tripping me up. I don't think it would have been so bad for me if I had listened to it on audio, because seeing it is making me stop and go back and look for something that maybe I missed, or reread it thinking that I read it wrong. So it's a strange sensation for me, and that has happened a couple times in this chapter. And considering that this chapter is only like 4 pages long, that's not great. As I had stated earlier, it didn't seem to me like Bryn was very interested in, doing any kind of amateur sleuthing. And here we are right off the bat in chapter 7, where she's talking about her business. She's talking about the art of making cheese. And to me, coming off of the end of chapter 6, I would think she'd be like, starting to get into the I wonder what happened to Nancy mind frame. But we're here talking about the place that she makes her cheese, how she's making her cheese, things that will affect the cheese making, things she's going to do to try to gain some customers. So, I don't know. The story flow is not really working for me right now. And of course, we get a lovely call from the Reverend, who I didn't care for too much, if you can recall. I'm in the first section. And he brings with him some other surprising information that Nancy's funeral is taking place so quickly. It's like unheard of. I've never heard of a service happening that quickly, nor a cremation. So anyway, I had to stop and mention to you about the flow of the story and the sentences, because it's really tripping me up. And yeah, I'm hoping that there's not much of that going forward, because it's going to affect this reading experience for me quite a bit. Like I said, because I'm reading it physically, it's even more of a hindrance. Whereas if I would have been listening to it on audio, which I don't think there is an audiobook out at this time. I didn't see one, but I could be mistaken. At least my library does not have it. But yeah, if it was on audio, I probably wouldn't have noticed as much. But because I am seeing it with my eyes, it's a different story. So anyway, enough chatter on that. I'm going to continue to chapter 8, and I will be back in a bit. So I just finished chapter 12. There are still issues with how the sentences are laid out for me. I am still getting bogged down by the way the sentences are structured and how everything is laid out. Other than that, pretty interesting about Nancy's son and Nancy's 2 grandsons. I did get a little bit confused about their ages, the grandsons' ages. I believe it said that they were 2 young men, but it seems more like they're like teenagers. So it sounds like they're both in college, because there is mention of what they're studying. But the way they talk just seems like they are younger to me. So I keep forgetting that they're older. Like when their parents had left them at Bryn's place, I was like, wait, why are they leaving them there? And then I remembered that they were older already. But there was also that time where Nathaniel calls to check in on his sons and see how they're doing. And Bryn was telling him that, they were being really helpful, and how he said, well, it pretty much is like pulling teeth to get them to help out around the house or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know, that just makes them sound like they're younger than they're being portrayed, I guess. So anyway, I do definitely enjoy their characters, though. It seems like they have helped Nancy not only move to a direction where she's going to finally try to seek alternative treatment for Petunia, but now she's also very curious and more on the path to investigating what happened to Nancy. Of course, she does a not smart thing and picks up a piece of evidence, but that is to be expected with our amateur sleuths. Other than that, I really don't have many more thoughts on this section. Like I said, I really enjoyed meeting Nancy's son and her grandsons, and just a little bit of kind of, I don't know, bonding time, I guess, that she's been doing, learning about the two boys and then having them help her pick out a Christmas tree, and hearing them tell Bryn about what their grandmother had said to them about her was very endearing. And the little bit of description on Tilly's singing ability, I really enjoyed that. What I didn't enjoy was Tilly's parents. That they are, I did not enjoy their interactions with Nathaniel or Bryn at all. But of course, Bryn had a slip of the tongue and said stuff she wasn't supposed to. So I'm hoping that Tilly doesn't get in trouble for that. But anyway, I am looking forward to tomorrow's chapters. Now it seems like the investigation has been sparked in Bryn's mind, and it seems like she's going to start doing a little bit of sleuthing on her own. So anyway, that's all I've got to say about chapters 7 through 12. I hope you're all having a great day, and I will be back with you tomorrow. Take care and smile always. Bye.